It's our weather tonight, 49 degrees. Could be colder this time of year here in Wisconsin. The wind will be left to right as you watch at 15 miles per hour. It's in fact going in the other direction, but hitting the inside of the stadium and swirling. So as you watch the game, it'll be impacted going left to right. Light shower perhaps in the forecast before the night is done. Bears won the toss and they deferred. So the Packers will get the ball first. Micah Hyde back deep to receive for Green Bay. Took a punt back 93 yards last week for a touchdown in the Packers' Sunday night victory over Minnesota. And Robbie Gould set to kick it off. Ball falling off the tee twice, so he'll bring Craig Stelz down to hold it. And as we mentioned, that breeze, it'll factor in a bit here as the night goes on. Walk around town today, you see a bunch of Bears fans around, but of course, cheeseheads. It's a day-long party. They love Monday night games. Folks started tailgating at 7 a.m. outside Lambeau. And off we go for number 187 with the Bears and the Packers. No return for Hyde, and Aaron Rodgers will take over at the 20-yard line. As we talked about at the beginning, all the pieces missing, yet Rodgers has the receivers performing at a high level. He's a veteran, he's experienced, man who turns 30 on December 2nd. And John, what happens around Green Bay with this offense all emanates from number 12's arm and eyes.
And they've had a lot of continuity, not only at the quarterback position, but Mike McCarthy, this coaching staff, has been working with Rodgers for a long time, and it shows.
Opening drive starts from the 20, and Rodgers, couple of looks covered, takes off to begin the night and runs for about 9 yards. And the middle linebacker, Jonathan Bostic, able to trip him up, and immediately the game comes to a halt with a flag.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 92, defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
Nose tackle Stephen Paya, the first flag of the evening.
Well, this Packer offense is more balanced than it has been. They've got a great passing attack, but a formidable rushing attack, and expect a lot of no-huddle offense tonight. They want Aaron Rodgers in control. They've had a lot of backup players step up and become stars in the last couple of weeks, Mike.
We'll start with that no-huddle, controlling the tempo and the toss for just a couple of yards. Eddie Lacy, we're going to watch his carries here. He's had 24 or more touches the last 4 years. So Lacy, the second-round pick out of Alabama, a whole bunch of championship rings, 3 in his 4 years there, playing for Nick Saban, and only Zach Stacy, who we saw last week with St. Louis, is a rookie with more rushing yards than Lacy.
And right away, you see the no-huddle offense. Chicago with 2 rookie linebackers. They're going to try to stress them immediately.
319. Second and 8. Rodgers in the seam. Jordy Nelson on the move and in Bears territory at the 28-yard line. A pickup in 26.
Play-action pass. You get the running game going, and you're going to see some nasty play-action passes from Aaron Rodgers. But Jordy Nelson's in the slot. Little play-action fake will freeze the linebackers, and there's nobody there for Jordy Nelson. Nice pickup by Eddie Lacy, the running back, and that was easy.
Key for this Packers offense. Nelson's rolling. James Jones back from his knee injury. He's blocking on the edge as Lacy puts the shoulder down inside the 15. Another first down for Green Bay.
That's what we covered in the pregame, Mike. If you're going to play cover 2 and have these safeties 20 yards deep, Aaron Rodgers is just going to toss the ball on the edge to Eddie Lacy and make somebody make an open field tackle. I don't think Chicago can play that loose in the secondary, or Eddie Lacy will pound them.
319. Keeping the 3 receivers out there and letting Lacy run inside, try to get to the 10-yard line, and Corey Wooten and Stephen Paya finally pull him down inside the 10.
And it's an area that the Packers have been very good at in recent years. Red zone, touchdown, production. and they don't have the weapons that they have had on the outside. Boykin, second-year man, has had some catches in recent weeks, but this is where timing with new young receivers is difficult.
As the light mist begins to fall again, 2nd and 8. And Rodgers, pressured by Peppers, steps up, throws, incomplete. Julius Peppers, who has struggled this year, just 1 sack, able to get in there and move Rodgers off the spot.
They need Peppers because Chicago has had no pass rush at all this year. 9 sacks. Julius Peppers has just 1. They need to heat the pass rush up like the Bears are accustomed to doing it. They have an inexperienced linebacking core led by Jonathan Bostic. And if the Bears don't get 3 turnovers from their defense, I think they're in trouble tonight.
We do have Charles Tillman playing off that knee injury that's kept him from playing full games the last few weeks. 3rd and 8. And Rodgers on the move, chased down by Shea McClellan, who gets his first full sack of the year and brings Rodgers down, and it will be 4th down.
That's the Chicago Bear defense that I'm accustomed to seeing. Let's see if Rodgers is okay, Mike.
He stayed down there for a second at the back end of the play.
You see Shea McClellan working against Barkley on the right side. Rodgers has time, but it's good effort to the football by McClellan, and Rodgers went down hard on his throwing shoulder.
As he goes off Mason Crosby to attempt a 30-yard field goal for the Packers, and it's good. So Crosby able to get points out of it to make it 3-0, and certainly the concern right now with Green Bay is Rodgers, who hit the deck hard on the sack by McClellan on 3rd down.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Toyota Care. Scheduled maintenance, no cost. Verizon. Never be without football with NFL Mobile. NFLShop.com. Get free shipping on orders today at the official store of the NFL. And Autotrader.com. Compare new and used cars at Autotrader.com.
Get a look at Lambeau Field. Tonight's aerial coverage from Green Bay brought to you by DirecTV. So the Packers get a field goal, but the concern is Aaron Rodgers, who got up on the sideline, was throwing a couple of passes with the backup quarterback Seneca Wallace, but the training staff bringing him over to look at that left shoulder one more time, coming down on that non-passing shoulder as Shea McClellan brought all the weight down on him. Meantime, Mason Crosby kicks off, and Devin Hester, 19, returns for touchdown in his career, fakes the reverse, and Hester is shy of the 30 at the 27-yard line. So Rodgers is hurt. Cutler's out. The groin injury against Washington 2 weeks ago, the last game. So Josh McCown, a veteran, 3rd-round pick of Arizona back 11 years ago. 3rd team. He's been with the Bears for a few seasons now. 13-20 as a starter, including Christmas night 2011 here in Green Bay. Now, when he came in against Washington, he looked much better than he did during that first tenure with the Bears. Cutler injured. McCown moved the offense, was seeing things. And as John said before, everyone we talked to with a lot of confidence that McCown can run the offense effectively tonight. The 29, his first throw is caught by Brandon Marshall at the 42-yard line. Meantime, Aaron Rodgers is going to jog towards the locker room here on the Packers sideline. So Rodgers will get probably x-rayed as he is going in with the training staff of Green Bay. So certainly a murmur goes through Lambeau Field as they see their star going back to get that left shoulder or arm checked on. The 41. Rolled by McCown is knocked down, coming off the edge. Tramon Williams, the corner, breaks it up, John.
Yeah, Dom Capers, the defensive coordinator, loves to bring perimeter pressure. He brings more defensive backs in the charge than most coordinators. That time, Tramon Williams comes right off the slot, and he bats the ball down. But Dom Capers, a lot of different looks in his base defense and in his sub package. And this is where they want McCown in 2nd and long.
On 2nd and 10, the 34-year-old back to pass. And it's complete again to Brandon Marshall, accelerating into Packer territory and out of bounds after a gain of 19.
How about Mark Trestman coming out with McCown in 3 straight passes? Just a little fake to Forte, and you're going to see Marshall coming from right to left. No pass rush whatsoever. And that is the #1 area where the Bears have improved as an offense, and it's in the offensive line. If you give Brandon Marshall time to get open in the middle of your defense, he can wear you out.
2 catches already for Marshall. Play action, McCown to put it up again. Eluding the rush and just getting rid of it over the head of Forte. John, give us a little thumbnail on what to look for when Chicago has the ball.
Well, as I just said, I think this offensive line is upgraded tremendously. And Aaron Kromer, the offensive coordinator, is the offensive line coach, much improved. And the ball distribution is better. It's not just throw it to Brandon Marshall. Jeffries is catching passes. You'll see Martellus Bennett at tight end. And the Mark Trestman factor will be huge tonight. He's an excellent offensive coach, and anything goes with Mark Trestman. You'll see anything from read option to various forms of West Coast offense.
Looks like Trestman's having trouble getting the plays, and you saw somebody standing by Trestman. We're looking at the wireless communication that talks into the headset of the quarterback. So a little confusion, running late. Timeout, Chicago. There is Seneca Wallace, who has not taken a snap even in the preseason with the Packers. He was not with Green Bay during this preseason. He continues to warm as Aaron Rodgers is being checked after he was injured on a 3rd down play in that last series for the Packers. Off the Bears timeout, it's in the hands of Alshon Jeffrey, this talented 2nd-year receiver out of South Carolina for the 1st down out to the 26-yard line.
Up the gut linebacker blitz. Good play selection by Aaron Kromer on the Bear sideline. And these Bear wide receivers block for one another. Look at Brandon Marshall and Earl Bennett escort Alshon Jeffries for a 1st down. Good anticipation of the blitz. Marshall and Jeffrey do a lot without the ball for this Bear offense, and we need to point that out to all those young receivers out there. You can be a good blocker.
John, from the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, left shoulder injury. His return questionable. 1st and 10. 6 straight passes for the Bears. Josh McCown with an end zone shot. Marshall can't bring it in. In coverage, Sam Shields battling a toe injury.
That's a throw Josh McCown needs to hit. It's a double move, a little stutter, go. And Brandon Marshall ran right by Shields. You have to let the big man go up and get that one. Just slightly underthrown. But an aggressive first 15 by this Bear coaching staff. They've come into Green Bay tonight with a backup quarterback coming off their bye week. Very aggressive openers.
Now Marshall being looked at by the athletic training staff of the Bears. This season of attrition continues. First run, it is Matt Forte on the edge inside the 25. Down to the 23, Tramon Williams, the corner, joins the safety Morgan Burnett on the stop. Well, you see Marshall going up so often and contesting for those passes and leaving himself awkward as he comes down. But there, it wasn't anything about an awkward landing. You can see with his one leg extended.
And this is the dime package that Dom Capers is famous for. Micah Hyde checks into the game, number 33. He's a rookie from Iowa. They like to blitz him off the slot.
Marshall back out there, 3rd and 6. A.J. Hawk bringing pressure. A lot of Packers coming. McCown able to get it away to Marshall. Did he catch it inbounds? Called a touchdown.
The monster of the Midway. Brandon Marshall makes one of the great catches I've seen him make.
There is a flag down in the end zone, and they'll have to take a look to see if he was inbounds as well.
Pressure's on. You have to credit
Pass
Josh McCown.
Number 38, defense. Penalty of decline. Result of the play, touchdown.
You have to credit Josh McCown for getting the ball up under intense pressure, and Brandon Marshall goes over the wrong shoulder to find this football and make an acrobatic catch and track the sideline. Great work.
Good job by McCown to hang in there with all that pressure around him. And Marshall brings in his 6th touchdown reception of the year. Robbie Gould, extra point. All but one play was a pass. The Bears with their backup quarterback McCown walking down the field. The touchdown scored by Marshall. Certainly an interesting start to this one. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt on the opening drive for a field goal. 2-minute and 36-second scoring drive. The Bears come back without Jay Cutler, who's working hard there on the sideline. He's been very involved and demonstrative with that Chicago offensive brain trust. And they just watched his backup, Josh McCown, bring him down the field, throw it to Brandon Marshall for a 23-yard score. And a drive that also took 2:36. And now Seneca Wallace will take over at quarterback for Green Bay, with Aaron Rodgers being looked at in the locker room. Goal kicking to Micah Hyde. And Hyde with no return. Packers will take over from the 20-yard line. A lot of questions have been asked. Green Bay has been searching for a backup quarterback because Rodgers has been so dependable. He's only missed 2 games, one because of injury since he became the starter. So Seneca Wallace, who spent this preseason with New Orleans and San Francisco, about to take his first snap with the Green Bay Packers. 33 years old, drafted by Seattle in 2003. Didn't play his first couple of years. Played for the Browns last, back in 2010 and 2011. And now quarterbacking the Green Bay Packers. From the 20, Eddie Lacy on the run to the left. He only gains a yard. Jonathan Bostic in with the tackle, and John, obviously a lot changes here as Wallace replaces Rodgers for now.
Yeah, a lot changes in the Green Bay huddle and in the Chicago huddle. You just saw the Bears jump into an 8-man front. They don't respect Seneca Wallace. They're going to make Seneca Wallace do some things that they haven't seen him do as a Green Bay Packer, and that is going to allow them to challenge these receivers. Remember, he hasn't thrown a regular season pass in some time.
Last took a snap in 2011 in an NFL game out of the league last year. Lacy runs it right, and he's pulled down by James Anderson. And the yardage good enough for a first down.
Well, when you get a lot of sugaring up in these gaps from these linebackers, why not just toss the ball around the edge? Good down block by number 81, Corliss. And Eddie Lacy is a very good north-south finisher. You have to get bodies to Lacy. He can drag the pile if you give him too many one-on-one situations.
You see Mike McCarthy and Jonathan ask you here about how it changes for the head coach and the play caller. They just sent the heavy guys in to block, and now they've changed it. Brought out Jordy Nelson and 2 receivers as Lacy runs and only gains a yard. So every coach has a disaster plan. You have these meetings every week. So how does the play calling change if you're Mike McCarthy when Wallace comes in?
Well, this is drastic change for Mike McCarthy because he didn't even have Seneca in the preseason. So that list of plays has shrunk tremendously. That's why you've seen 3 consecutive runs. Look for some high percentage, quick passes, and they'll see how Seneca Wallace can handle his opening possession.
Second and 9. It's another run. Lacy looking up the middle, and the Bears are waiting for him, but he bounced off 3 would-be tackles and takes Peanut Tillman near midfield. Great hard run for a Lacy first down.
A very creative shotgun running attack here in Green Bay. Watch Kuhn come backside and seal the edge. It's an inside zone give to Lacy, and he just moves the pile. He runs right over Stephen Pye. A missed tackle by Major Wright, and he finishes. He gives the Green Bay Packers a physical presence, much like Marshawn Lynch gives the Seattle Seahawks.
Half his yards after he's been contacted. Peppers rushing off the edge. The first Wallace pass is caught by Miles White. First down to the 43-yard line. White, a rookie out of Louisiana Tech.
You got to give Mike McCarthy credit. He uses Miles White against Tim Jennings, the Pro Bowl corner, on a little stutter, go, hitch. And Miles White has another catch. Undrafted free agent. They're going after a Pro Bowl corner to the wide side of the field with a backup quarterback. That's gutty.
After the gain of 8, a run to the right with Lacey, met by Bostic. Bounces off of him and finally pulled down. A lot of hard running going on. Lacey and Bostic, no strangers, as they met when one played for Alabama and the other Florida in their SEC days.
Well, Lance Briggs and Urlacher are saying, wow. You want to be a linebacker in the National Football League, these are the plays that you have to make. And Green Bay has ran Lacey 20 times or more 4 consecutive games, and they're well on their way to do it again.
First and 10 for Seneca Wallace. In for the injured Aaron Rodgers as he hands again to Lacey. And comes up to the 35-yard line, so a gain of 4. James Anderson in on that tackle.
You know, Eddie Lacy doesn't have a lot of mileage on his body, Mike. 3 years at Alabama, he had some injuries. He shared the ball with a number of different tailbacks. But he has come in here and really rejuvenated this offensive line. They love the physical aspect of running the football, and it's really helped their pass protection.
He's out. James Starks is the running back, and the slant is deflected and intercepted by Peppers. Julius Peppers hanging on for dear life was T.J. Lang, but the pick on that slant that Rodgers throws so well and so effectively, that time the Bears get in the way, and Peppers comes up with the tip and the pick.
Well, if you throw a hot in the running game, you better be alert where Julius Peppers is, because his wingspan just changed his game.
Interception number 9 for Julius Peppers, who has been very quiet this year. The man pulled out a bunch of rebounds during his time playing some basketball in addition to his great football days in North Carolina. It's the block and the pick there. And now the Bears take over in Packer territory at the 45. And he runs for 2 yards for Forte. Let's go back to the interception.
Well, this is a running play to Starks, and he sees the 8-man front, so Seneca Wallace just picks it up and throws a slant away from the strong safety, and Julius Peppers bats it down and has the presence to intercept the football. This is a big part of the Packer offense, Mike. If they load the box, they have run game solutions with these built-in slant routes. That time, Julius Peppers says, not on my watch.
Here's Josh McCown, great field position, back to throw again. He slings it complete. Martellus Bennett, nope, through his hands and incomplete. The tight end, who started his career with Dallas, had a breakthrough season last year for the Giants. Has been a very big part of Chicago's pass offense this year.
Once again, Dom Capers goes to his dime package. Rookie Dayton Jones, their first rounder from UCLA, checks in as an inside pass rusher. This has been a blitz down for the Packers this season. They came earlier, got burned on the touchdown to Brandon Marshall. Let's see if Dom Capers brings some more pressure.
Play clock running down. Russian full. McCown's got nowhere to go, and he slides short of the line of scrimmage. So will be a loss. And the Packer defense, despite seeing Chicago take over a good field position, able to force the 3 and out.
I really like Dayton Jones, their first rounder. He hasn't made a lot of plays, Mike, but he's a walk-around hybrid type defender that can mirror the quarterback and has the burst to come and get you. Nice play by the rookie out of UCLA.
And he will get credited with the sack. Adam Podlish. Look out, it's blocked. Jamari Lattimore comes through, gets it, and a great swing of field position as the Packers will take over the 32.
Green Bay's getting their money's worth out of Lattimore. He was a third-string linebacker when the season started, and now you're going to see him playing on special teams. Coming off the right side, nobody accounted for him, and Lattimore has become the starting inside linebacker and a critical part of their special teams. Great work, and there's a hole, a flaw in this Bears punt protection.
That is the first time Podlish has had a punt blocked in his NFL career. He'd gone the first 428 punts without one blocked. Lattimore comes up with the big play to flip the field. The timing on that was pretty good in terms of getting a punt off. You like to do it in under 2 seconds. That was 1.8 in trying to get the punt off. Just the breakdown in the protection. So Wallace takes over at the 32. And a big hole for Starks. James Starks, touchdown, Green Bay.
This Packer running game is formidable. An array of different types of runs. That a two-back scheme run, and they completely fooled this young linebacking core of the Chicago Bears. Kuhn is going to wind back for James Anderson. There's a poor run fit, and James Starks gashes the Chicago Bears. And number 47, Conti's got to step up and make this tackle. That's what safeties are paid to do.
Starks, who played only 3 games in that rookie season of 2010, during the regular season had that sensational playoff run for the Packers. He's been injured through his career, including a partially torn MCL ligament in the knee earlier this year. He's back with a vengeance. Packers on top by 3. Quite a start here at Lambeau. We're acting like it's Fenway, middle of the 8th inning. Sweet Caroline plays here. We've had the face of the franchise quarterback get hurt, block punt, couple of touchdowns. Here's the block.
Dante Rosario, number 88, on the left side of the Bears punt protection, has to fan out there and block number 57, Jamari Lattimore. Breakdown in your techniques will be costly on special teams, and Joe DeCamillis, the special teams coach of the Chicago Bears, one of the best in football, can't be happy with Rosario.
Mason Crosby kicking to Devin Hester. They like his ability to place kicks and limit the return game with Hester. He got popped hard there. Good coverage by Chris Banjo, the safety. We'll start from the 13-yard line. Well, if you were not with us, very first drive of the game, Aaron Rodgers moved the Packers down the field. Then scrambling on 3rd down, sacked by Shea McClellan, the former first-round pick, and McClellan drives Rodgers down. That non-throwing shoulder, he tried to get up and throw, but felt some pain. And then about a minute or 2 later, jogged up with the training staff to get checked on. The Packers say his return is questionable. We have not seen or heard anything more regarding the injury since. In the interim, Seneca Wallace has taken over. And it's a battle of backups in Lambeau. Josh McCown gives him out for 10. That's a loss of 3, and John, the defense is picking it up here in the absence of the offensive leader, Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think you can run the ball against Green Bay's base defense. There's Ryan Pickett, been here a long time. Johnny Jolly is back here, Mike. Been out of football since 2009, 350 pounds. They are massive with B.J. Raji inside in this 3-4 defense. If I'm Mark Trestman, I'm going to throw the ball against their base defense and run the ball against their lighter nickel defense.
Empty backfield, 2nd and 12. McCown on the slant, caught by Alshon Jeffrey. That's a yard shy of the first down as Sam Shields brings him down. Let's talk more about that Green Bay defense led by Dom Capers.
Well, Dom Capers is diverse. A lot of packages, a lot of different looks. 12 different Packers have a sack, and they've been stingy in their run defense. Jolly, Pickett, and Raji. And when they have had to rush the passer this year, they've relied on their inside people, Mike Daniels and Dayton Jones, with the absence of Clay Matthews and Perry, their first-round pick. They need to get some pressure up the middle to have success.
3rd and 2. McCown throws for it, and Jeffrey again. They feel really good about these matchups with Marshall and Jeffrey throwing on 3rd and 2 from inside their own 20.
So do I. These are really good, big, physical wide receivers. Look at the release by Jeffrey. No match is Trayvon Williams. They have size, strength advantages against everybody they see week in and week out. Mark Trestman puts them in good positions every week. I'm impressed with McCown, Mike, coming in here on the road with very little work.
1.5 left to the quarter, and Forte runs to the right for 3 yards. Matt Forte's had some big runs, 3 runs over 50 yards this year. We've become used to seeing Forte not just in the running game, but a very effective receiver as well. He's behind Neil Anderson and, of course, Walter Payton, who's in a different stratosphere in terms of the all-time rushing list in Bears history. Forte is 3rd on that list. Second and 7. It is caught by the tight end Bennett. And no place for Martellus to go. It's Casey Hayward, the nickel, along with Brad Jones, make the stop.
This is a chess match. A lot of personnel substitutions, not only from Chicago, but look at Green Bay. There goes Jolly and Raji. In comes their fast nickel inside pass rushers, Jones and Daniels. And keep an eye on these rookies of the Chicago Bears. You don't often see a rookie right guard and a rookie right tackle starting the first 8 games in the regular season. Chris Long and Jordan Mills together on the right side.
3rd and 6. Pressure comes and it's picked up. McCown's pass is incomplete. Looking for Bennett again, and Micah Hyde, who had that punt return last week and has done a very good job in the coverage packages for Dom Capers.
And they need Micah Hyde to step up. Number 33 out of Iowa, just a rookie. That's the position Charles Woodson played here for a long time. Linebacker in their dime package. He's been a good blitzer and a good coverage man. Nice play by the rookie.
That returns for touchdown last week, padding those numbers for Hyde. See if Podwitz can get some space to get the punt off this time. Towards the sideline where Hyde fields it, steps out of bounds to the 13. And a very fast-paced twisting and turning opening quarter comes to an end. Packers 10, Bears 7 from Lambeau on Monday Night Football. Bears lead the rivalry. They've won 4 more than Green Bay over the years, but the Packers have won the last 6 Chicago-Green Bay matchups. We start the second quarter here at Lambeau. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters. Overcast nights and showers in the air. Aaron Rodgers still being checked with that shoulder injury. Seneca Wallace and the Packers take over at their own 14. Eddie Lacy in at the back. Wallace being chased by McClellan and Peppers, and just runs out of bounds for a loss of 3 yards.
Well, that's the pass rush that the Chicago Bears have been looking for. McClellan's the one that hit Rodgers already. This time pressure comes immediately from Julius Peppers off the left side. He beat the rookie Bakhtiari, and Shea McClellan beat Barkley on the other side. So far, both defensive ends of the Bears have made their presence felt.
Will be credited as a Peppers sack, John. Loss of 3 yards. Lacy coming to the right. And holding on is Kasim Green, the rookie out of Rutgers.
Yeah, if I'm the Bears, Mike, I'm going to continue to challenge Seneca Wallace. I'm going to play an 8-man front. I'm going to try to gang up on Eddie Lacy, and I'm not going to give him a lot of room to run in there. Keep ganging up on the run. Let Seneca Wallace throw these built-in bullet slants, bat him down, and create turnovers. Because when you play a too deep look, you soften the box, and you're vulnerable to some of these scheme runs that Mike McCarthy's famous for. Keep crowding the box. Challenge these young receivers and get after Seneca Wallace. That's what Mel Tucker loves to do.
It is 3rd and 11 for Wallace, throwing in the middle, complete to Andrew Quarles, but the tight end who's starting because of the absence of Jermichael Finley was injured here the last time the Packers played a home game. It's going to be shy of the first down, 3 and out Green Bay.
Well, that's how you play Tampa 2 coverage there, Mike. You send the Mike right down the middle. You use your linebackers underneath to read the quarterback. Excellent work eliminating yards after the catch. And here's our friend Devin Hester, who loves Monday Night Football.
Last time out, broke a slump. He had gone 28 games without taking a touchdown back. Brought a punt back 81 against Washington. Trying to make some NFL history and take another one back. Nastey's punt only 41 yards is fair caught by Hester. And Chicago will take over just shy of the 40. One drive and 2 minutes gone in this second quarter.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Enter the Never Say Never sweepstakes for a chance to win a 2014 GMC vehicle at gmc.com/NFL. Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And NFL Mobile. Never have the fear of missing out on football. NFL.com/mobile.
Part of the recent renovations at Lambeau over the last decade plus. Great Packer Hall of Fame, and in it, some of the artifacts, including that original desk from Vince Lombardi. There's 5 championships here in Green Bay. Those World Championships on either side of the board here at Lambeau Field. Josh McCown and the Bears take over at the 40, trailing by 3. Only 1 first down their last 2 drives, and Forte tries to run up the middle, and B.J. Raji limits the gain to a yard.
You know, B.J. Raji deserves a lot of credit. He's really checked his ego at the door this year. They take him out in a lot of sub situations, so he doesn't get to rush the passer. But here he is defending the run. It's a short trap. He gets rid of Garza and brings Matt Forte down for nothing.
Free agent next year, not freelancing. Keeping with the program, doing what he does well. McCown. Underneath, crossing, checking down. Forte. Good run after the catch. Matt Forte down to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 33 yards for the running back.
If you protect McCown like you get protection here. Look at Bushrod, Pro Bowl left tackle, the ex-New Orleans Saint. It allows McCown to survey the field, get to his alternate receiver, and that's bad tackling by the Green Bay Packers. Most improved aspect of this Bear football team is their offensive line, Mike. They can pass protect and run block, and it's really helped them.
What a difference from a year ago. Think about a year ago here at Lambeau. Jay Cutler getting after his offensive line. Right back to Forte. Raji right there. Loss of 4. B.J. Raji was right on that screen to Forte.
Yes, indeed. He smelled that out all the way. He's going to feel Slauson release on a screen, and Raji smells out the screen and goes and gets Matt Forte. That's excellent recognition. That's what a defensive tackle has to be able to do. Stop the run, recognize screens, and play laterally outside the hash marks. Nice job by the big man out of Boston College.
Forte out for the moment. Michael Bush is in a very quiet season as the back. McCown throwing, complete, Bennett, tight end inside the 10, inside the 5, reaching out and just shy of the goal line. Martellus Bennett, a great catch and run. First and goal, Chicago, unless he broke the plane.
Mike, Josh McCown is sending a message to his Bear teammates. Let's see if he scored.
It's just shy. It's when his butt comes down. The hand is okay. It's still legal. Stop right there. And it just is fractions before the plane. Something you'd have to look at very closely on that 27-yard gain.
Well, it's a great catch. You see Bennett beat A.J. Hawk, but Josh McCown made it happen with an incredible throw from the pocket.
Well, the big people in. First and goal. It is Bush running right. Running into Packers. No gain. They've even lost a half yard. Morgan Burnett from the safety spot capped it off.
It's an area where the Packers have struggled this year. Their red zone defense. You see it last in the league. And I tried to tell you earlier, running the ball against these mammoth Green Bay Packers is a difficult thing to do. So Chicago's going to spread them out on the 1-yard line and try another way to get it in there.
Well, this is football every week now.
Yeah.
You're on the 1. Hey, give me 5 wide. Spread it out and throw it.
The sprint to the right.
Alshon Jeffrey, bottom of the screen. 3 options right. They're going to run it inside with Forte, who steps through the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago Bears.
That's a nice adjustment by Mark Trestman and Aaron Kromer on that Bears sideline. Let's put some smaller Green Bay Packers on the field and run right off the left side. You see Chris Long on a trap block. That's too easy. Excellent drive by the Chicago Bears, and I can't say enough about Josh McCown and his pocket presence in this football game. He has made some great throws.
You see why they were just so confident in McCown, coming in 10 of 15 for 151 yards. Goal able to add the extra point. Matt Forte, only his second rushing touchdown against the Packers. First one came on a Monday night as a rookie. Got down on Monday night now. And McCarthy's team is down by 4. Well, backup quarterbacks, the story here tonight. And who knows how long. Josh McCown with a tremendous showing so far, leading the Bears to a 4-point lead.
Well, how about these two throws? Here's the touchdown to Marshall. They didn't even block the right side. He does a 360 to Brandon Marshall for a touchdown. And then this is almost a fadeaway sidearm slash for a big gain down to the 1-yard line to Bennett. Josh McCown has played great football for the Chicago Bears. They put over 40 points on the board last week at Washington in a loss, and they have moved the ball very well tonight. You see Matt Cavanaugh, the quarterback coach. There's a lot of good stuff going on right now with Josh McCown and his Bears offense. Remember, he didn't take a rep, Mike, the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season because Jay Cutler took every one of them.
So often your backup gets very little work, and it's part of the story here for Green Bay. Likely for the rest of the night, Micah Hyde on the return for the Packers across the 20, carrying about 5 Bears across the 25 into the 28-yard line. As they umpile here, this was the first drive of the game. Aaron Rodgers pulled down by Shea McClellan on that non-throwing left arm, a collarbone injury, and he is out for the rest of the game. Left shoulder injury is what the Bears are officially calling it. You see them looking up inside that shoulder area, up by the collarbone. Left collarbone injury, out for the rest of the game, and who knows what that means going forward, how significant the injury is, how long it is. Again, the backup quarterback had been something that Green Bay, long known for drafting and developing young quarterbacks, just has not been able to find since Matt Flynn left here, candidly, over the last couple of years. And now Seneca Wallace will have to close the game, the guy who wasn't even in camp with the Packers. Toss back to James Starks, and that's a loss of 2 yards.
And I'd be very concerned if I were a Green Bay Packer fan, because when Aaron Rodgers disappears for this long of a period, I think this injury is a little bit more serious maybe than we think, Mike. And Seneca Wallace has his hands full not only in this game, but Green Bay, I don't know who the emergency quarterback is. That's what I want to know. What happens if something were to happen to Seneca?
They got a lot of guys out there. Chris Harper, who was going to be an active receiver if James Jones didn't play. He was a quarterback that started his college career at Oregon. You have Jordy Nelson from his earlier days. James Starks on the run to the left. And he's stopped on the edge by Charles Tillman. That's always an issue. Again, the Packers, like so many teams, with only 2 quarterbacks.
You see a little push and crack right here, and Charles Tillman, the right corner for the Bears, reads it and makes a tackle. He's had over 100 tackles twice in his career. He does it all for Chicago. A turnover creating machine, but also an outstanding tackler for a corner.
Battling his own injury since week 3, inflammation in the right knee. It's just how many snaps can they keep him on the field. 3rd and 10 for Seneca Wallace to Jordy Nelson, hemmed in there and not going to get the first down as Isaiah Fry, the 6th-round pick last year, joins Tim Jennings to force a 3-and-out.
I love a zone defense that can break on the ball. That time Isaiah Fry, Jonathan Bostic, young Chicago Bears, rallying to Jordy Nelson, making the tackle short of the first down. Mel Tucker, the defensive coordinator, has to be pleased, Mike, with his young Bear defense.
Mastay kicks to Hester. Extra blockers down there trying to get Hester some room to return, but he says get away from this one. Takes a good bounce from Mastay, and they'll ping Chicago inside the 15-yard line. They start their own 13 in the lead, knowing Aaron Rodgers is done for the night. Back here in Green Bay, and certainly the starch has been taken out for the Packer fans. It is certainly a more sedate atmosphere, if you can call it such, during a Packer-Bear game. Clay Matthews out. He got the pins out of his thumb, the surgery that he had a month ago. The pins came out today. They're hoping to get him back soon. But lost Aaron Rodgers in the first quarter, out for the rest of the game. Josh McCown hands to Forte, runs to the right, loss of a yard. Morgan Burnett, A.J. Hawk, and Brad Jones. John enjoyed our visit with A.J. Hawk, first-round pick back in '06. He was criticized earlier on in his career, but is playing some of his better football this year, and certainly a leader for this Green Bay team.
Very unselfish. They took him out in their sub defense a couple years ago. Now he plays every down, but when you're asked to take a pay cut, some guys get sensitive. They want to leave and go someplace else, but A.J. Hawk has continued to be a consistent, every day, every down leader for this Packer organization.
He's had a lot of different linebackers around him, including Andy Malumba, who had to come in, a rookie out of Eastern Michigan, undrafted free agent, who's in because of the injuries to Clay Matthews and Nick Perry, and now Malumba is shaken up. Official timeout. Andy Malumba helped off by the medical training staff of the Packers. Walked off with a limp, mostly under his own power. 2nd and 11 for McCown. Shotgun run with space for Forte. A.J. Hawk's helmet comes off as the tackle's made at the 19-yard line. Here's the injury to that undrafted linebacker, college defensive end. Played at Eastern Michigan.
I'll take a look at it. He's engaged with Evan Britton and takes a nasty spill, but they've already lost Clay Matthews, Nick Perry. They can ill afford to lose many more linebackers. They can ill afford to lose any more players here in Green Bay. Injuries are ridiculous.
3rd and 4. Here's the pressure on McCown, who throws. It's incomplete through the arms of Brandon Marshall, with Casey Hayward in on coverage.
We talked about the inside pass rush. They don't have an outside pass rush. Everybody's hurt. So Dom Capers continues to bring Packers up the middle. That time they knocked Josh McCown off the spot. Nice work by the Packer defense. Let's see if Micah Hyde can get a look here, Mike.
Podlish has had one block. Hyde took one back last week. Hyde, late fair catch signal made just shy of the 42-yard line. 39 yards on the punt. So the story here in the NFC North, the Lions had this week off. Green Bay trying to stay a game ahead and put Chicago not just 2 back in the loss column, but also 1 and 2 in the division. Now, if Mark Trestman's Bears win, then everybody's 5 and 3. Everybody's 2 and 1 in the division, and you have a pretty interesting second half of the season. Jay Cutler, as you heard the ESPN report from earlier, hopes to be back next week, Sunday, for the game at home at Soldier Field against the Lions. We have no idea what the Rodgers injury situation will be, so interesting twist here in the NFC North at the halfway point. Seneca Wallace throws to Corliss, the tight end. 2 receptions on the night, 8 on the season. That's a big part of their offense they're missing, as Jermichael Finley is out.
No question about it, and Jermichael Finley is outstanding after the catch. Corliss, a good player, missed all last season with that injury, but Mike McCarthy has thrown nothing but 3-step quick passes so far with Seneca Wallace. Sooner or later, he's going to have to drop back to pass and make some plays with his arm, or this is going to be a long night for Green Bay.
On 2nd down, here's Wallace. Longest throw he's made is caught by Jared Boykin to the 40-yard line. It's a first down gain of 14.
That's what I'm talking about. Here's a blitz by the Chicago Bears. It's picked up, and Seneca Wallace throws a square in brilliantly on time to Jared Boykin, and Boykin beats Tim Jennings, the Pro Bowl corner. Well thrown ball by Seneca Wallace, who's had a lot of experience under Mike Holmgren, an ex-Green Bay coach up in Seattle, in this offense.
2003 draft pick in the 4th round. Toss left Lacey, and they're waiting on that, and it's a loss of a yard. Let's stay with that point that you just made here, John. You go back to Wallace, 5'11", shorter quarterback, run around, do some things. And it's been a while. So, as a coach, when you know the guy hasn't played in a game since 2011, do you try to let him just get back to game tempo by giving him some runs and some quick tosses?
Yeah, I think you give him a couple series. But the reason Seneca Wallace is here is he is a great competitor, and he just has an air of confidence about him. You got to trust him. That's why he's here.
2nd and 11. His throw is short for James Jones, who's back in the Packer lineup for the first time. Missed the last couple of games with a knee sprain. Now back to Wallace Junior College. You see the story on Jones from last year and the 14 touchdown receptions to lead the NFL. We talked about Wallace Junior College for 2 years, Iowa State for 2 years as he was coming out, and talking a player who only started 21 games. Even though he's been in the league for 10 years, he's 33. Not a ton of starting experience. 3rd and 11. He's chased and throws sideline. It is juggled and ruled a catch. But now conversation.
Let's say he bobbled it.
Yep. Waiting for them to finish their conversation. It'll be incomplete. And you decide as it's 4th down. Quarles secures it finally before the knee comes down. Right there, second hand on before the knee comes down with 2 feet in.
I'd challenge that one, Mike.
It would be 4th down if it's ruled incomplete. Mike McCarthy looking up at the board. He just saw the angle and replay you saw. Fans encouraging him to challenge it here. The Maste and the punting units coming up. One more look.
Well, they saw possession 2 feet.
Choose not to challenge. And punts it away by Maste. And down inside the 3.
Maste's playing like a grinder candidate.
Devon House down there. Martin just outside the 1-yard line. Standing work by House off the punt by Maste. ESPN including the start of the college basketball season from an Army base in South Korea, Georgetown, Oregon, and the Armed Forces Classic that's coming up on ESPN 8 Eastern as the college hoop season gets started. The 14 99-yard touchdowns in the history of the NFL. 4 of them on Monday Night Football and 1 of them in a Packer-Bear game. Robert Brooks from Brett Favre back in '95. From his own 1, McCown's hit as he throws, and that was almost a safety as he was being pulled down by the combination of Raji and Johnny Jolly.
Well, they're taking a shot, and it's an inside blitz, and there's some confusion on how to pick up Raji. You see Lattimore 57 blitz. No one blocked Raji. Lattimore didn't even blitz. He stepped up in the A-gap. There's some confusion with Matt Slauson and Matt Forte, and Chicago just dodged a bullet.
On 2nd and 10, McCown going to step up, throw it sideline for Marshall, who's got it to the 20-yard line. A 19-yard gain and a first down for Brandon Marshall, having a good first half.
Mike, that's a great read by Josh McCown. It's going to be 2 verticals. Watch the corner at the top of the screen. He's going to try to defend both cuts. He squeezes inside on Bennett. Josh McCown sees it and throws the ball out to Brandon Marshall. What a great read by Josh McCown, backed up in his own end zone under pressure.
We talk about the Bears and the history of the Packers rivalry. What do you think Hallis would have thought of your own one with your backup quarterback throwing it twice? The NFL of 2013. The 17, Forte with space, slammed forward to the gain of 8 yards. Morgan Burnett in on the tackle. You know a quarterback pretty well, our friend Rich Gannon, who reminds some of Josh McCown.
Well, he does. Gannon took the hard way, too. He was on several teams, but he can move around. He's tough. He's smart. Every down, he researches the defense. He's got a lot of Rich Gannon-like qualities, and Mark Trestman and Aaron Cromer on the Bears staff were with Gannon.
Your assistants in Oakland, first when you were there, and then Bill Callahan following you. At the 25, Forte with a nice room and space as Matt Forte gains 17 yards. And the Bears offense is rolling here in this first half.
You get in a shotgun, you get your passing game going, you start to get the pass rush going up the field. Why not run a draw play? Just an inside handoff to Forte. You see Jamari Lattimore, number 57, get caught up in the wash. Good north-south elusiveness by Matt Forte. Mark Trestman is in a rhythm right now.
Gaining nearly 7 yards a play. Michael Bush gives Forte a breather. He'll run the inside play. Bush, who has not found that form that we once saw in Oakland back in 2011 specifically in his couple of years with the Bears. We'll hit the 2-minute warning as Chicago, trying to make it a three-way tie atop the North, leads Green Bay 14-10. Studio at halftime, Chris Berman will have the Toyota halftime and all the latest on the many news issues of the day, including the latest on the Miami Dolphins saga with Richie Incognito suspended indefinitely by the team, and many layers to that story. Chris and company will have it covered at halftime. 2 timeouts Chicago, 3 Green Bay at the 2-minute mark. And Josh McCown getting it to Michael Bush. A.J. Hawk with a tackle, and it's second time Hawk's helmet has come off as Bush lowered the shoulder and moved forward into Packer territory.
And that just ignited the Chicago Bears sideline. Punishing run by the big back, Michael Bush. Plenty of time left here. Josh McCown, I'm sure, hasn't been in a lot of 2-minute situations as a Bear, but let's see what the veteran has for us.
This drive started at their own 1. McCown with a shot complete. It is Marshall with the catch for the 5th time in this first half, and another first down.
This offense resembles the New Orleans Saints. I see the Aaron Cromer all-go special. Marshall down the seam, right across the free safety's face, and the ball's thrown accurately. But a lot of this offense looks like what Aaron Cromer, the offensive coordinator, ran at New Orleans.
Another first down. It's a sideline throw. Martellus Bennett in the open field. Lattimore holds him up. And with 46 seconds left, Chicago will use its second timeout here before second down. It was week 2 of Thursday night. And the memorable scene was Jay Cutler getting in it with Jamarcus Webb. His other offensive lineman couldn't protect him. Very different story, different cast, but a very different story in terms of protection here tonight.
No question. And look for Dom Capers to blitz here to get some kind of pressure.
Pressure coming off the edge. Forte tries to run, but Lattimore is there for the stop. Virtually no gain. 37 seconds left. They chose to run, not using that last timeout. It's 3rd and 10 now.
Just buyer beware. If you blitz the Chicago Bears offense, you're going to have single coverage for Marshall and Jeffries, 2 big receivers.
3rd and 10, 20 seconds left. McCown scrambling, looking, now taking up. He's got the first down and more. McCown is at 10. Hawk hit him from behind. 12 seconds. They should take the timeout. Let's see. Yep, trying to get the timeout. Finally gets it with 7 seconds remaining. So they'll have a chance if they choose for one play from the 6-yard line. Quite a scramble by McCown of 20 yards. 7 seconds left, no timeouts. You have time to do what?
3-step drop, throw a double slant to the top of the screen. Complete or incomplete, do not scramble.
Drive started at the 1. And the Bears get 6. McCown looking, throwing, end zone for Jeffrey. It's overthrown over his head. With great coverage from Tramon Williams, and with 2 seconds left, Robbie Gould will come out and try to give Chicago a 7-point lead.
And an excellent drive by the Bears, but McCown put the ball up for your big receiver, give him a chance to go play it. I was holding my breath there. I thought Josh held the ball a little bit too long. Let's see if Robbie Gould can send the Bears to the locker room with a 7-point lead.
24-yard field goal attempt. They drive it down the field from their own 1, get 3, and the Bears take the lead to the locker room, and they'll get the ball to start the third quarter. So Mike McCarthy, without his starting quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, takes his team in to try to come up with a game plan. How the Packers will move forward for this half and beyond. 17-10 Bears. Here's Chris Berman of the Toyota halftime.
Let's see if Rodgers is okay, Mike.
James starts. Touchdown. Green Bay. And set for the second half. There are neighborhoods just a block or two away as you walk around Lambeau Field here in Green Bay. The Packers and the Bears get set for the third quarter. 17-10 Chicago. Mike Tirico, John Gruden. We'll hear from Lisa Salters on the sideline in a little bit. The injury to Aaron Rodgers so significant, John, for the Packers. Obviously, for the rest of the night, we have no idea where we'll go going forward with this injury. That the Packers are terming for now a left shoulder injury happening on the opening drive as Shea McClellan sacked him. But they're trying to hold it together and stay in this game short term, and who knows what the impact of the non-throwing shoulder might be as Rodgers walked up the tunnel, and you can kind of tell the resignation, body language, and everything else as he went off there.
Yeah, there's a lot of concern, and if it wasn't serious, he'd be back out here playing. That's how tough Aaron Rodgers is. If there's one irreplaceable quarterback in this league, Aaron Rodgers is one of them.
Yeah, there's that small group of those elite quarterbacks who do so much. As we were talking, preparing for the game, Mike McCarthy's run game, Rodgers has become so good about picking up the right run at the right time. And that changes the dynamic of everything they've done here. You could fill some of the holes of the injuries they've had, but not that one.
Well, in the last 340 games, all I've seen is Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. So this is culture shock to everyone here tonight.
Devin Hester awaits the kickoff. It's Mason Crosby to knock it away, and Hester takes him 2 yards deep. For that seam on the left, he's tackled at the 21-yard line, and Lisa Salters has the latest from the field.
Yeah, Mike, I just spoke to Mike McCarthy, and he did not give me much about the status of Aaron Rodgers. All he would tell me is what we already know, that he is done for the night. He said, in fact, that he did not even see Rodgers back in the training room. Rodgers, he said, is still here in the building, back in the training room. McCarthy said he didn't even go back to see him. He's worried about the offense that he has on the field right now. So I asked him, how do you make things easier for Seneca Wallace? And he says he's done a good job so far. We've just got to get in a better flow with our offense. He said, I've got to do a better job of picking out better first down plays for him. Mike?
Try to sustain some offense, Lisa. It's a good point. They had a couple of 3-and-outs on back-to-back drives in that second quarter. So McCown starts from the 21. It's a 3-yard gain for Forte on a little swing pass to the right.
Well, Josh McCown has stole the show tonight. His ability to stand in the pocket and make accurate throws has really impressed me. Here's an awkward delivery. Neal's beaten down on him, and what a throw to Brandon Marshall for 6. And then this one's a fall-away snap to Martellus Bennett that set up another score. Josh McCown has shown no fear, none.
Veteran in the league, 34 years old. A couple of years ago, volunteer high school coach. Thought his NFL days might have been done. Just get rid of that and throw it away on that sideline, incomplete. And we'll bring up third down. If you didn't hear the report earlier, Jay Cutler, indications from our ESPN report that he could start against Detroit on Sunday. The groin injury suffered against Washington. And John, I thought these were the big 7 days in the Bears season. In the division, Green Bay Monday on the road, Sunday at home against Detroit. I'll tell you if the second half is going to be playing for the title or figuring out what's next.
And Green Bay has dominated the Chicago Bears in recent years. If they could come into Lambeau and get a win like this coming off the bye, say a lot about the job Mark Trestman's done.
3rd and 7. Green Bay rushes 5. And the throw is dropped by Forte. And we'll bring up fourth down.
You do a nice job bringing pressure, containing McCown in the pocket. Forces him to get to his outlet receiver, Forte, who looked like he took his eyes off it. Critical 3-and-out stop by this Packer defense. They need to get some field position for Seneca Wallace and try to get some early down pass offense established.
Eric Weems, personal protector, getting everybody straightened out. Potlish had one blocked earlier. Hyde on the run at the 31. Took the sideline for 9. Saves his team some yards there by fielding it and turning it upfield. So let's see, after a half to think about it and sort it out, what Seneca Wallace can do.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by the new LG G2. Accomplish more. With LG, it's all possible. Navy Federal Credit Union. Visit us at NavyFederal.org. IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit IBM.com/smarterplanet. And the new ESPN Fanshop.com. Powered by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Longest tenured stadiums in America. Fenway, Wrigley, and then Lambeau. And our aerial coverage of Lambeau Field brought to you tonight by DirecTV. Expanded, grown, and still retains the character from 5 decades ago. But John, Mike McCarthy was talking to Lisa about better on first down.
Got to throw it on early downs against these 8-man fronts.
Lacy able to crease it and take it into the secondary. On the run, Eddie Lacy. Chased by Jennings. Inside the 5. First and goal to 1. What a run by Eddie Lacy.
Or run it against an 8-man front with a heck of a back and hope the Bears have another bad run fit off the right side. Second time tonight, Chicago has a terrible run entry. Major Wright, the strong safety, terribly out of position. And Eddie Lacy is off to the races. But that's bad defense by the Chicago Bears when you're in an 8-man front, the strong safety's unblocked, and you have 2 defenders in the same gap.
56-yard run, the longest of his rookie season. He's over 100 yards. Now will he take it in from the 1? Lacy into the end zone. Green Bay Packer touchdown.
That's impressive. Eddie Lacy is giving Green Bay something they haven't had in a long time. But on both of these long runs, one by James Starks and one by Eddie Lacy, it's as much bad defense as it is good execution by Green Bay. You can see why there's a lot of fans wearing that number, 27. That's a hot jersey.
A bunch of them around town this week. You're right. Crosby ties the game at 17.
You know, when you disguise coverages and you want to get into the 8-man front late, you better get the 8th man in position quicker. You're going to see number 21, Major Wright, enter on the right side of your screen, unblocked, but he's in the same gap the defensive end is in. There's nobody there, and Eddie Lacy punishes Chicago. Then on the touchdown, it's a power play right behind John Kuhn. You see Josh Sitton, the left guard, pulling, and Eddie Lacy goes in standing. Both these Packer touchdown drives, Mike. How about one play, 7 seconds? Starks, 2 plays, 53 yards on the ground. It's amazing the complexion of this Packer football team, how it's changed without Aaron Rodgers. And this presence of Eddie Lacy has really excited this Packer offensive line. They love coming off the ball and run blocking.
Well, John, it's a problem they've had for a while. They have searched to try to find a way to balance the game. And Mike McCarthy, Western Pennsylvania roots, loves to line up and run the ball. But obviously, West Coast offense, Rodgers is your trigger. You had the great receivers like Jennings, Driver, Nelson emerge in Philly, so you throw it all over. But he's always wanted to say, we're in Green Bay in December. We better be able to line it up and run. And they went and drafted 2 backs this year, Jonathan Franklin round 4 and Lacy in the 2nd round. That and some moves on the O-line have made it a lot better. Crosby onside, kick attempt. It's free. Rolling on the ground. In the scramble, Packers think they have it. They do.
How about Mike McCarthy fake a punt or fake a field goal on 4th and 28 last year to beat the Bears. This time he uses a surprise onside kick in a 17-17 game. Watch the high bounce off Crosby's foot.
And watch for Jamari Lattimore, who blocked the punt earlier, come get the recovery. Micah Hyde breaks it up as Blake Costanzo was trying to make the catch, and Hyde pulls it away. And as it squirts free, Lattimore gets over and comes up with the recovery.
Just have to see if there was a Packer that touched it too soon. Obviously not.
It was all clean. That was 10 yards. That was all good. It's the first time all season that a surprise onside kick, not at the end of the game, one of those, has been recovered by the kicking team.
What a gutty call by Mike McCarthy. 4th and 28. He fakes a field goal last year, and a surprise onside kick sets up Seneca Wallace.
Back to the run. Toss Lacey. Looking like old school Packers to the left. And how about the patience of Lacey and a pounding run. First down.
Look at that finish on the Packers sideline. James Anderson, the outside linebacker of the Chicago Bears, does an excellent job setting the edge. Watch this toss sweep to the left side right here. Number 50, James Anderson, sets the edge, and Lacey gets back to the inside, and he runs right over Major Wright on the Packers sideline.
Gain of a dozen on the run again. Lacey to the right this time. Major Wright able to hang on for the tackle along with Tim Jennings. Lisa Salters.
Hey, Mike. Well, Packers right guard T.J. Lang is back on the sidelines, but he is in street clothes. He is out for the rest of the game with a concussion.
Lang got dinged in that first half, Lisa, and saw him on the bench sitting with the rest of the offensive linemen after the training staff spoke with him, but went back in the game. So Lang out. Starks the back. And Wallace throws it complete. Shy of the first down for Quarles, as the rookie out of Rutgers, Kasim Green, tried to pull it away from the tight end.
That's a common three-step quick pattern by the Packers. Bears are looking for that strip. These young linebackers have been trained well, haven't they, Mike? Urlacher and Briggs.
With Urlacher retiring, Briggs with the injury to his shoulder 2 weeks ago, the last game they played against Washington. Looking for that first third down conversion of this game. It is Starks, and he's able to get it down to the 28-yard line.
Chicago needs some help inside. They are getting after Stephen Paia. These defensive tackles. Remember, the Bears are missing Henry Melton, their Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Paia has had some injuries this year, but Green Bay, in no-nonsense fashion, is taking it to the Chicago Bears.
Bears, of course, this week signed Jay Ratliff, the four-time Pro Bowler. Still a couple of weeks away, the former Cowboy. In the meantime, they continue to run inside the tackles. Starks brings it to the 23-yard line.
I mean, these aren't gimmick plays, Mike. These are straight isolation leads. And they're doing a nice job cutting off the backside, but whoever they hand the ball to is making good north-south finishing yardage, and it's impressive.
With the injury to Lang, they've moved Barclay from tackle into guard. Marshall Newhouse has come in 74. He's playing right tackle. 2nd and 6 for Wallace. Oh, through the hands and caught by Jones and fumbled by Jones, but he got it back. Should have been a pick, was a fumble. Still Packer ball, first down.
And James Jones shows great concentration, but he also shows his rust and inactivity. Ball is tipped. Should have been an interception by James Anderson. Great concentration by Jones, but he has to secure that football against the Bears. Conti does a great job poking it out.
Oh, that leads to 1st and goal. First reception for Jones. It is Starks to the right. And Jennings makes the tackle, gain of a yard.
That Jennings, 5'9", had 9 interceptions last year, has 3 interceptions, but that's just part of the program with Tim Jennings. That time a form tackle one-on-one against the big back. That's excellent work.
Wallace throws the slant to Nelson. Incomplete. Broken up. Nelson says, I want a flag. My shoulder pads are outside my jersey. Being pulled on.
I think it's a good no call. That time it's a trap pass. They try to lure the underneath coverage to the fake, and they're trying to throw a slant right in behind it. I think it's a good no call.
Nickelback Isaiah Fry was in front. Conti with the coverage from behind.
Man-to-man. Corliss at the top of the screen. That's where Finley used to dominate.
Conti is covering. Wallace goes that way. And it's incomplete. Now, you talk about the difference, John. As Finley is out with that bruised spinal cord, it used to be Rogers throwing to Finley. Now it's Wallace throwing to Corliss.
Well, last week, Conti was exposed in man-to-man coverage against the Redskins. I think it's a bad throw. I thought Corliss would have had a chance to go up and play that with a little better throw. But here's Crosby.
Struggle last year for Crosby. Missed 12 field goals this year. He's only missed 2. From 23 yards, gives the Packers the lead. Green Bay out of the locker room. Scores 10. You got to go into the bag of tricks when the face of the franchise isn't here. Rodgers is hurt. They go onside kick, steal a possession, get a field goal. A mess in Miami. A mess in Tampa. And we'll see them both next Monday night. 8:25 Eastern. The Dolphins are 4-4. And they're right in the middle of trying to fight for a wild card, but the Buccaneers looking for that first win. And Tampa played very well going out to Seattle. Seahawks came back late and won that game. 20-17. A lot of hang time. Hester hesitant, takes it out late, and just crawls shy of the 20-yard line on the return. Not Cutler and Rogers. Instead, it's McCown and Wallace. Tight game. 3-point Green Bay lead. Green Bay's annual trip to Soldier Field, Chicago, comes week 17. Here at the midway point of the season, the Bears trip to Wisconsin. Chicago scored 10 straight. Green Bay has answered with 10 in a row. And Josh McCown, first down, loading up. Shot downfield towards Marshall. Sam Shields in coverage. It's incomplete. Well, John, we're talking about the time of the protection for the Bears. Here were the players last year. Remember that Jamarcus Webb, Jay Cutler dust up. It happened in this game, week 2. See all those faces around Roberto Garza? Gone. They've all moved on. So they gave up a whole bunch of sacks last year. 3rd fewest in the league, with additions of veterans in Bushrod and Slauson on the left side, and Long and Mills, the draft picks, on the right side. First rounder and a 5th rounder.
And a huge improvement. Well coached.
Rattay runs inside. Raji with the stop. B.J. Raji has set a tone here in the second half.
And the most interesting of that group, I think, is Kyle Long, number 75, their first-round draft choice. He only played 5 games at Oregon. He was playing baseball. We know his dad, the great Howie Long. His brother plays for the Rams. Decided he wanted to play football. Went to Saddleback Junior College. And here he is, a first-round draft choice. And he has shown tremendous improvement in a short period of time. It's a credit to him.
Started more games for the Bears than he did at Oregon in college. Pressure on from the edge. It's picked up, and the McCown throw is complete. It is Alshon Jeffrey at the 35-yard line. First down, Bears. Gain of 15.
Look at this pass protection. I mean, this right guard is a rookie. He's just learning how to get in his stance, and he's pass protecting a very good inside rusher. Gives McCown plenty of time. Nice finish by Garza. That's a much improved unit Garza, the leader, he keeps them together. Experienced Pro Bowler on the left side in Bushrod, and an up-and-coming star in Long at right guard.
Rookie receiver out of Washington State, Marquise Wilson, late entry to the game. As McCown throws, incomplete. A little confusion on that route with Alshon Jeffrey. John, you've referenced him a few times. Aaron Kromer spent his last 5 years in New Orleans. Remember, with all the Bounty Gate suspensions and everything else that happened with Sean Payton and Joe Vitt, Kromer stepped in as the first of the 2 interim coaches last year and came here to be the offensive line coach and the coordinator for Trestman.
Yeah, and he does a lot of work with the running game. Obviously, he'll call a lot of those runs. Very involved in pass protection. He works in concert with Mark Trestman, and it's quite a battery they have in Chicago.
Second and 10, Forte comes to the left. Marshall threw a block to give him space and get to the 40-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and 5 coming up.
Should have been a dead play right there. Let's see if Marshall's okay. It's going to be a slot blitz right off the left side. Marshall chased it, tried to block. And it's the second time I've seen Marshall go down tonight.
It's involved there with Tremont Williams, and as he trips back over Williams in pain. Injury timeout. It's the scene while we were in break as Aaron Rodgers returned to the field. Back there since the first drive when he went down on the Shea McClellan sack. So Rodgers returns to the Green Bay sideline. In the interim, Brandon Marshall limped off mostly under his own power. The good news is he's on the sideline for the Bears without any of the athletic trainers looking at him. He's still fighting pain. 3rd and 4 for McCown in Chicago. Nobody flinched when Neal came across the line, so no penalty draw. Neal trying to get a quick start. Kept out of there by the rookie tackle Mills, and McCown throws on the run incomplete. Trying to get it low to Alshon Jeffrey.
That's excellent coverage by the Packers secondary. They've played a lot of man-to-man underneath with help over the top. That time McCown is looking for Alshon Jeffrey, and Devon House jumps inside. He knows he has help over the top, and he does an excellent job plastering to his man when McCown scrambles. That's excellent work by Devon House.
Adam Podlish gives it to Micah Hyde. Went for the sideline to keep it away. It'll end up being a much better kick. Down at the 18-yard line. A boot of 41. Well, Aaron Rodgers has been the North Star in this division. Look at the record, 24-7, and when you take the completion percentage around 70, the TD to INT ratio, and the passer rating, which incorporates many of the key stats for the quarterback, and his throwing, the best in NFL history against division opponents for the guys who've thrown it a whole bunch, 500 attempts. So within his division, a few have dominated like Rodgers has, and now he's there, and we certainly out for the night. We don't know how long or the severity. That'll be the story of the next few days and beyond here with the Packers. Wallace is the only other quarterback on the 53-man roster. Scott Tolzien, former Wisconsin quarterback who played down in Madison, he's on the practice squad. But it's Wallace's to win or lose tonight. Behind Jordy Nelson, and incomplete.
That's a throw Seneca has to hit. I've been asking for a first down play action pass against this 8-man front. There it was. Excellent fake. Wide open receiver. And Seneca misses the throw. And Mike McCarthy knows he's got to be very careful in this field position, backed up with Seneca Wallace.
2nd and 10. And Lacey patiently running. And he's brought down by James Anderson. Now, John, we talk about this often. Backup quarterbacks don't get a lot of reps during the season. Why does that happen? Why don't you get more reps for a number 2 if he has to come in and save a game like tonight?
They don't let you practice very long, Mike. And Green Bay is so specialized on offense. It's hard to get one quarterback ready to play, let alone 2. So you try to find a veteran quarterback who can survive with very few reps. And McCown and Seneca Wallace are here for that reason.
It is 3rd and 6. Pressure picked up the middle, but Wallace has to get rid of it as McClellan came off the edge. And the Bears defense responds after seeing Green Bay score on its first 2 drives of the quarter.
Excellent job by Mel Tucker. You're going to see a double A gap blitz and a blitz by Major Wright. They don't block McClellan on the right side. It creates a horrific situation for a backup quarterback. There's nothing that Seneca Wallace can do but abort it. Good call by Mel Tucker.
Devin Hester's 31st birthday today. Trying to celebrate by breaking the all-time return for touchdown record that he shares with the man he idolized, Deion Sanders. Swung in the air for a while from the 30, Hester. With space down the sideline, Hester tries to cut it up the middle. A nice return across midfield and into Packer territory at the 47-yard line.
I like watching Devin Hester. How would you like to have that as your full-time returner?
You made the point, full-time. No more offense. That experiment's done. It's all mine. Special teams.
Got fresh legs.
Looks it. Championships in the history of the league. Green Bay 13, Chicago 9. The Bears' last title was won in '85. Packers winning Super Bowl after the 2010 season. Try a little reverse here. In the hands of Alshon Jeffrey. Unable to pick up the block as he got to the edge. And was strung out by Nate Palmer. Just hung there and set that edge on the other side. Well, we mentioned right at the beginning, John, Josh McCown came in and played well against Washington when Jay Cutler was hurt. There you see the numbers on the top line. And tonight he's continued his solid play, mistake-free again to this point.
That's impressive. I coached his brother as a very good backup quarterback still today with the New Orleans Saints. Quite a quarterback family.
Luke, the brother. Josh sitting on 2nd and 9 here. Long pick up that pressure to give McCown time to throw to Marshall, complete at the 34-yard line. John talked about the good offensive line play, and Kyle Long gave him that extra second.
Well, it's another inside blitz, and Josh McCown shows no fear, Mike. Right up the middle, a cross-dog blitz. Watch McCown stand here, wait for his receiver to get open, and in the face of the blitz, he throws a strike for a first down. That's big-time quarterback play. And Marshall, good to see him back running around.
Injured on that last series, 4 yards shy of 100. Roberto Garza snapped it back. McCown to Forte with space. That Forte first down and out of bounds at the 22-yard line.
That's a play that Aaron Kromer has seen 100 times. 3 verticals. They call it all-go special. They're going to send 3 verticals down the field, and if it's covered, throw the little check down underneath to Matt Forte. I thought Marshall got grabbed. Official missed the call, but you can see Josh McCown going through his progression snap after snap. He doesn't look rusty at all. This is more than impressive.
Forte running up the middle. Maybe inside the 20, taken into the red zone at the 17-yard line. You mentioned this is his 3rd year with Chicago. No stats last year. It was signed when he had the injury to Cutler late in 2011. That included the Christmas night start here against Green Bay. Before that, he was in the UFL. He was playing for the Hartford Colonels.
Yeah, I saw him play there. I was looking for a job at that time, Mike.
You did not?
Yes, I went Hartford Colonels. I've seen him coach high school football. This is amazing, the route that Josh McCown has taken to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and put his Bears on the brink of an upset.
Forte cuts it back. Matt Forte inside the 10. First and goal as M.D. Jennings tackles him at the 6.
Chicago ran the zone read last week against the Washington Redskins and hurt them. Just watch the effect that McCown has after he hands the ball off. on the defense. You see number 42, Morgan Burnett, come down and honor McCown, who's carrying out his fake. There's a lot of offense in this Bear playbook. Let's see if they can finish the drive. They love to throw the ball to these big receivers in these two receiver slot combinations.
Dante Rosario, the other tight end, in as the throw to the end zone to Marshall is incomplete. He had a hand on Devon House, the corner, as he was trying to free himself for space.
Well, two receivers. We called a slot. They're going to try to use Jeffries to run interference for Marshall. Devon House fought through the traffic. Could have been a flag there.
Speaking of which, one penalty tonight.
Just keep an eye on the isolation of Jeffries on the right, Marshall in the slot. If they load the box, McCown will throw it. If it's a soft box, they're handing it to Forte.
This time Earl Bennett's up at the top and Jeffries down at the bottom of the screen.
One-on-one.
McCown goes that way for Alshon Jeffrey. Did he hang on? Steps down. He's in. Touchdown, Chicago.
They say what's different about the Bears' red zone offense? I say they got some monsters of the midway. There's nothing that House can do. McCown saw the one-on-one coverage, throw it up high, and let Jeffrey go do what he does best. Oh, what a throw and catch. Nothing fancy, Mike. If it's one-on-one, throw it to one of the monsters. If it's a soft box, hand it off, and Josh McCown just threw his second touchdown pass.
Jeffrey, 6'3", Marshall, 6'4". Penn State or Robbie Gould adds the extra point. Each monster has a touchdown, and the Bears are again in the lead. Another lead change here as McCown to Marshall earlier on, followed by McCown this time to Alshon Jeffrey. Remember, that was all set up by the 23-yard punt return by Devin Hester, and the Bears back on top.
It's impressive. You talk about catch radius. I mean, you and I could complete some passes to these guys. They're big. They're wingspans. I don't know.
And what they all told us, including McCown last night, Cutler last year when Jeffrey was fighting through a rookie season of some injury, was Alshon Jeffrey so polite. Yes, sir. No, sir. Doesn't say very much, but boy, can he make some plays. And his emergence in this Bears offense has made Cutler, when he's been healthy, and McCown tonight, less reliant on targeting Marshall constantly. It's made it a better offense. Micah Hyde stopped cold at the 13. Jerry Franklin in on the coverage. What big terms you dropping here?
I've been telling you about catch radius. That's why we go to the combine. We measure their arm size, their vertical jump. And when you have a wingspan like Brandon Marshall, 6'5", you can jump 41 inches. You can find the ball. There's just not a lot a smaller size defensive back can do. And then you have Alshon Jeffrey. That's what I'm talking about, a catch radius. You see the radius? It's about 9 feet high, Mike. And Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall, they're impossible to stop. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bennett doesn't get one before the night's out.
The tight end, Martellus Bennett, adds to that size. Lacey with a shake on the run. Eddie Lacy, who's over 100 yards tonight with the run there. And John, to that point, that touchdown, you talk about these monsters in the midway, over Devon House, that was a 6'1" corner. It wasn't like a small corner over there.
I know. When you're that big and you can jump that high and you have those type of ball skills, you can see why Mark Trestman has empowered his quarterback, whether it be Jay Cutler or Josh McCown. Throw them the ball.
Wallace throwing. Nelson on the run with a catch. Jordy Nelson to the 35-yard line. 17-yard gain. It's been a quiet evening for Nelson after the injury to Rodgers.
Well, Nelson's working in the slot more than he ever has, Mike. He's inside. He beats Fry off the release, and it's just a crossing pattern. Remember, Donald Driver, great slot receiver, retired. Jennings went to Minnesota, and Randall Cobb is out. So not only has Jordy Nelson had to line up outside, he's had to go inside as the slot receiver. That says a lot about his versatility.
Wallace out on the edge, being pursued by David Bass, and completes it to Quarles, the tight end. Back-to-back passing first downs as we approach the 1-minute mark in the third.
Nice job by Seneca Wallace. And Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Packers, has a lot of designed move-the-pocket patterns in this offense. Remember, that's what Aaron Rodgers does extremely well, and I think Seneca Wallace is going to be very effective with these run actions, moving the pocket.
10 Lacey with 139 yards rushing tonight. We'll add 2 to that as James Anderson comes in to make the stop.
James Anderson, Bostic, Kasim Green. Think about the linebackers we've seen here, Mike, from these Chicago Bears over the years. It's amazing the anonymous core of linebackers we're seeing from Chicago tonight.
Briggs out with a shoulder injury. It's something that you can't harness because there's a fracture in there. He was telling me before the game, love to harness it up and go play, but can't do it here.
He's become quite a coach, they tell me. He's
right.
walking around with Mel Tucker. He's got a script and a highlighter. He's giving these Bears everything he can from the sideline, and there's Aaron Rodgers, and that's the scariest sight I've seen in a while.
Through 3 in Green Bay. Packers down 4 but driving on Monday Night Football. Hand here at Lambeau. They've seen the lead flip 5 times as we begin the fourth quarter. With the Packers at midfield, and Lacey eludes 2 tackles, and finally the rest of the Bears pursue and limit the gain, so it'll be third, about 5.5 coming for Chicago, for Green Bay, excuse me.
And Major Wright again coming down as the 8th defender in the box. Needs to wrap up. You'll see 21 come down on your right side of the screen. That should be a 3-yard loss. Conti and Major Wright, 2 veteran safeties, got to pick up their play. They're counting on these 2 men to deliver for Chicago. This is a man-to-man down here, Mike.
Just 1 third-down conversion for the Packers tonight. Wallace deflected in the air and incomplete. Second time a pass has been battered. Peppers, who earlier ended up with an interception off a slant that he was able to bat in the air.
That was a good disguise by the Bears defense. They showed across the board man-to-man coverage. They bailed out, played a 3-deep zone, and although Julius Peppers hasn't been real effective early in the season, he's got a batted pass, a sack, and an interception, and that almost was intercepted.
Mastay, he aims right with his body and then kicks left to try to keep Hester away from getting a good run on it. And the fair catch signal as Hester lets it go, and it's down right around the 10-yard line. Well, the story of the NFC North, if the Bears can hang on to this fourth quarter and win at the halfway point, everybody will be tied 5-3 and 2-1 in the division. And where the games will be to decide this division in large part, Lions go to Soldier Field on Sunday. Thanksgiving early. The annual game at Ford Field is a visit by the Packers. And the Packers and Bears close business on Week 17.
Well, somebody's going to need to make a play for this Packer defense. Charles Woodson is gone. He's in Oakland. Clay Matthews isn't playing tonight. They need somebody to make a play. They have not generated turnovers this year. They need one now.
Drive starts with 10. McCown looking to throw the screen to Forte, but Raji sniffed it out, was giving Forte no space, and McCown just threw it in the ground.
B.J. Raji, second time tonight, Mike. You have to read the set of these guards. If you sense it's a screen pass, you got to get out of your rush mode and go find the screening back. That's the second time. He's read Slauson and ruined screen passes. Second and long. Have to be careful playing man-to-man against these big receivers. They have hurt Green Bay with that catch radius.
Jeffrey came in motion and blocked. Forte tries to get to the edge. Marshall threw a nice block. So these receivers who are blocking, in addition to using that catch radius, Gave Forte the edge there at a gain of 14.
Well, Sam Shields wants a new contract. He's been reluctant to sign. Got to make the tackle. Number 37 right there. And it's an excellent job by Brandon Marshall blocking against Casey Hayward on the outside. Missed tackles will kill you, but the perimeter blocking of Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey has been a winning edge of this Bears football team.
Forte has run for 80 yards tonight. Likely won't even add a yard to that one. A.J. Hawks on the bottom of the pile. Ryan Pickett out of Ohio State. Been here 8 years with the Packers on the tackle.
And Chicago's had good balance tonight, Mike, between the run and the pass. Here comes Dayton Jones, the rookie pass rusher out of UCLA. Daniels and Dayton Jones have to get something done inside with their pass rush. Nothing has happened on the outside from Neal and Palmer. Green Bay needs some pass rush.
2nd and 9. They bring pressure. It's Shields who hits McCown as he throws. Bennett couldn't hang on. He was being hung on to. Both sides actually disappointed there's not a flag. Starting with the Packers, who wanted to call as Hawk was trying to get to.
Well, it's a great disguise, and you're going to see Sam Shields blitz. The linebacker occupies the back, and Shields is free. It's an excellent disguise. It's a famous Dom Capers blitz, a two-trap blitz, an old-fashioned Pittsburgh Steelers blitz that he's been running for years. Sets up a huge 3rd down. And it looks like a creative blitz again.
McCown almost intercepted. Tramon Williams had his hands on one. But they will punt with 12.5 remaining.
Good disguise by Green Bay. They go with a 3-man rush, maximum zone. And you're going to see McCown telegraph this throw. He stares down Bennett, the tight end. And Tramon Williams, who hasn't had an interception in his last 21 games, should have had one there. I've seen him make that play.
Packers loading up here. 8 to come after Podlish. And Eric Weems. Now 9 coming in. One more off the edge. Good push at Podlish. They almost got there. 40-yard kick and a very late fair catch. Signaled by Micah Hyde to 34. Packers ball. Bears lead by 4.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. LiftMaster. No other garage door opener opens your world like a LiftMaster. NFL Mobile. Never have the fear of missing out on football. NFL.com/mobile. And State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
You've seen them now. You see how they're made. That's how you make a cheesehead. Foamation is the company, doing it for a quarter of a century. All 50 states, some 30 countries, folks have cheeseheads. If you laid them all out, John, next to each other, they'd cover from New York to California. Taking one home tonight. Lacy on the run for the Packers. He's got 6 there, and he has 150 for this game. It's a Packer team getting close to 200 rushing yards tonight.
You know what I'd wear if I was a Bears fan?
What?
I'd wear a shredder. I'd shred some cheese. What about that? I'll tell you what, where do you find 3 people wearing a shredder? I love that shot right there. I'm going to get 3 of those.
Christmas shopping is done. Lacy left. Good play by Peanut Tillman. Charles Tillman, but a flag comes down. Is there a face mask up there? Let's see what it was. Or is it on the pack? Again, very few penalties. Only 1 accepted on the night. It was a 15-yarder on the Bears on the first play of the game.
Personal foul, face mask, number 33, defense. 15-yard penalty. The run ended behind the line of scrimmage and will be enforced 15 yards from that spot.
It's a big penalty. The big back bounces it outside. Let's take a look at Tillman. He's got the face mask. Good call by the official. Let's see if Mike McCarthy gives Seneca Wallace another shot at a first down pass. It's almost been 100%, Mike. The Bears, even though they might disguise it, are going to bring the safety down, play an 8-man front. You have Jordy Nelson. You have James Jones. Let's see if Green Bay uses some type of a play-action pass.
After just the second penalty of the night. And by the way, 3 is the fewest penalties ever in a Bears-Packers game. 1st and 10 for Wallace. Corliss caught it. Major Wright was right on top of him. Forward progress takes it down to the 42.
Chicago is showing a split safety defense until the ball is snapped. And then every snap, Mike, on early downs, they're rotating into a single safety look. That time a high percentage completion sets up Green Bay with 2nd and 5.
You see those safeties split. That rotation again as Lacy looks left. About a yard, yard and a half. So John, some assistant coach, one of the about 20 on this Packers staff, like most teams, they're upstairs in the box and they're seeing what you're seeing. So what do you do with that information?
Well, you want to try to get that to Mike McCarthy, and I'm sure Tom Clements, Mike McCarthy are all on the same page. They're just reluctant to throw the football with the backup quarterback that they really have no history with. They haven't called any plays ever with Seneca Wallace in a game. Not in the preseason, not in the regular season, not ever. Huge 3rd and 3.
Wallace chased by McClellan, hit by Peppers, and down. A sack. Look, Julius Peppers heard from very little first half of the season for the Bears. Big imprint on this game tonight.
Well, it's just going to be a one-on-one rush on the right side. Marshall Newhouse against Shea McClellan. Good spin move. Good effort. That's what they need from their former first-round draft choice. But Chicago is challenging these Packer receivers. They're daring Seneca Wallace to throw the football. Green Bay's going to have to throw the ball to win. Haven't seen him do it.
Well, right through the middle. Nearly a chance to block the punt. A fair catch signaled by Hester back at the 11-yard line. Stephen Paya got right through the middle, and the big defensive tackle didn't lay out at Maste. Here in Green Bay, bit of housekeeping. They've officially credited that sack on 3rd down to Shea McClellan. He has 2, including the one that knocked out Aaron Rodgers. In the first quarter, Bears lead by 4, under 10 minutes. They're back up. Josh McCown has led them well here tonight. Forte around the edge for a first down run of 12 yards.
Man, is he quick. Simple draw play off the right side. He bounces it to the outside, and it's impressive running by Matt Forte. Watch it, just a draw play off the right side, and Forte is going to bounce it outside. Pick up a block once again from Brandon Marshall. Perimeter blocking of the Bear receivers has really impressed me.
On the other side, Lacy's run for 150. Forte closing in on 100 is 93 yards. No game there as Morgan Burnett comes up from the safety spot. Josh McCown has done such a good job here tonight and in the Washington game. ESPN report earlier that Jay Cutler looks like he's going to have a chance to play next week at home on Sunday against the Lions. There you see it's 100 starts for Cutler in his career. 10 games over 500. His numbers with the Bears, including the one playoff win of his career when they beat Seattle before losing to the Packers in the NFC Championship game. Cutler not under contract for next year, although the Bears could give him the one-year franchise tag. You don't have to make a long-term decision just yet. McCown, a rolling throw to the sideline of Marshall. Out of bounds, incomplete. Step away.
And I think the Bears have a tough call on Jay Cutler at the end of the year with that contract coming up, Mike. I'm sure the demands are going to be huge. And Mark Trestman, a new head coach, Aaron Cromer, a new offensive coordinator. They've got a lot that I think they want to research and see down the stretch. It would help if Cutler would get back out there quickly. Phil Emery. A lot of people eyeballing Jay Cutler in the last 2 months of this regular season to determine his future.
Third down coming up here. 3rd and 9. McCown. It's complete. It's got to be a catch and run. And Martellus Bennett gets very close to it. It'll depend on the spot as Bennett is down, now popping back up. And we'll see where the spot is. The marker looked to be right on the 33-yard line.
What a tremendous effort by Martellus Bennett. And once again, it's missed tackles. Casey Hayward. And that effort to the pylon was impressive by Martellus Bennett.
It's 3rd down, so here's the look. The chains were on that near side, the Packers side, and it is that short. Wow, just a chain link short. 7:50 left. You're up 4.
Watch Hayward miss this tackle, and Bennett knocks 3 Green Bay Packers backwards. I thought the spot was excellent by the official. Let's see what Mark Trestman has in mind here. Mike McCarthy's already done a surprise onside kick.
And starting to see the special teamers for the Bears come out. They certainly didn't want to give Chicago or give Green Bay the ball at the 33-yard line.
Bears better be careful. They have had some leakage in their punt protection tonight. Sean Slocum, the special teams coach of the Green Bay Packers, might be apt to come after him.
I believe the Bears have taken this. They've taken a timeout here on this 4th and inches, and you keep it in conversation there with McCown as Trestman's looking at his play card.
I've been there before. Those offensive linemen come up to you and say, if you don't go for this, I'm really going to be upset with you, coach. You got Long in your face. You got Slauson. I mean, you haven't beat the Green Bay Packers, and I don't know when. This is an inch you need to keep the football, and I like this call. Go for the win.
Even though they've got their backup quarterback.
I like the call.
All right.
I'm seeing a lot more aggressive calls in the last couple months, and I like this call a lot. I'd anticipate a quarterback sneak. So should Green Bay.
They will run it. Forte got the first down. He had to do some hard running to get there. And they keep the drive going halfway through the 4th.
Hard running. I thought they had Forte for a loss. What a great effort by the all-purpose Matt Forte. Right off the left side, I think you're going to see Slauson, or you're going to see the center Garza pull. Nice stiff arm by Forte. How about pulling the center on 4th and inches? Haven't seen that.
Nice
Garza.
Block. Yeah, nice block from Tony Fiametta, the fullback out of Syracuse. Drive stays alive as we approach the 7-minute mark. Flag down is Forte. This is the 38-yard line.
It's an illegal motion on the Bears. We'll bring this back.
Illegal motion, number 17, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Go back to Mark Trestman. You know, I worked with Trestman way back in, I don't know where, but he's been on 12 different teams. He's coached in 2 different countries.
Canada, CFL.
He's waited his whole life to be a head coach in the National Football League. Here he is with the Chicago Bears. He's had a lot of injuries. We've talked about the Packer injuries tonight. He doesn't have a lot of his best players. You got to give him credit for that gutty call on 4th and inches.
Now 1st and 15. And Josh McCown throwing sideline from Marshall. Couldn't hang on as it was contacted by Morgan Burnett at the 12th time Marshall has been thrown to tonight.
Morgan Burnett excuse me, Mike, he's replaced Charles Woodson as the leader of this Packers secondary. That time he hip wheels and finds Marshall and makes a nice play. Ball hit Marshall right in the hands, and before he could secure the catch, there's Morgan Burnett. Got a big contract in the offseason. They're counting on him, Mike.
It's the first 3 games of that hamstring injury, but has come back to take that leadership role in Don Capers' secondary. Second and 15. It's time for McCown. They just don't have the rush right now. Forte will make it 3rd and manageable. And it'll be snapped under 6 minutes left here in the 4th.
That's a good check down by McCown. You can see how Mark Trestman's pass offense operates. We're going to use all 5 eligible receivers, and we have one of the best 3rd down backs in football in Matt Forte. And we'll utilize him underneath as a check down, and it's been very effective tonight.
Hey, John, Forte lost his shoe. The Bears had some personnel issues with subs. They now get their 11th player on the field. The play clock's at 8. Get this off likely in time, but Bush is the back next to McCown on 3rd and 6. And McCown throws complete to Marshall at midfield. And the Bears will take it under 5 minutes on this drive, and McCown is making some money plays.
Yes, he is, and Marshall is just too big and physical on the right side. I don't think Casey Hayward can handle Brandon Marshall in the slot. Right out of the break, the ball's thrown low and inside where Marshall can protect himself and the catch. And you're right, Mike. Josh McCown has taken care of the ball. He's managed the clock, and he's run a lot of different plays. He's been outstanding in relief of Jay Cutler.
Four-plus minutes off the clock so far on this drive. And Michael Bush, whose longest run coming into tonight was 7 yards, gains 9 on that carry.
Let's take a look at Josh McCown. Don't forget he had a 20-yard run to set up a field goal at the end of the first half, but no interceptions, 272 yards passing. Not a high completion percentage, but he's thrown the ball away tonight. And he's led the Chicago Bear offense. And his offensive line deserves a huge assist. Garza, Slauson, and Long played well.
Kept him clean, limiting the sacks. Pressure shown off the edge by Casey Hayward, but it's a run from Forte, and with 4:15 left, first down for Chicago. John, McCown walked in last night, and we talked to him about the opportunity, not knowing if Cutler would be out a week or 2 weeks, and how well he played against Washington. And Brandon Marshall had so many good things to say about him. He said, you know, he's not a we're in the sea, but he has those traits of a captain. One of those veteran backups who takes the young receivers to the practice field, throws routes with them, works on the offense. And he's very well respected. So there was a lot of comfort with the backup quarterback going in, and he's shown us why here tonight. Forte on the toss, on the edge. Forte inside the 30. And Matt Forte taking it over 100 yards on the night and stays in bounds with 3.5 left in regulation.
Yeah, but how about the play selection? You're going to fake a jet sweep to Alshon Jeffries. If you're a linebacker, you have to go that way. And then they're going to flip the ball with his left hand to Forte. I guess he flipped it with his right hand, but I've never seen that play ever. Great job by Matt Forte understanding the situation.
By staying in bounds. This drive, John, started with 9:37 left in this fourth quarter. And you see the Bears are going to force the Packers now to start using their timeouts on defense here as Forte runs to the 21. And Mike McCarthy looking up at the clock. Not going to burn one here at 2:44 on this side of the 2-minute warning.
And I'm surprised that Chicago has run the ball as well as they have. It just looks like Pickett and Raji running out of gas here. The interior of this Packer defensive line. They played very good run defense until tonight. The Forte's taking it to them here at crunch time. 7 minutes they've had the ball.
Our Packer fans sensing the urgency here, trying to get their defense to come up with a stop. 2nd and 7. Bush is the back now. He gains a couple. And McCarthy will let it go all the way down to the 2-minute warning. Hope they can limit the Bears to a field goal and save the timeouts to try to tie the game. Luke McCown trying to do what few quarterbacks have done here, or rather Josh McCown, I should say. Few quarterbacks have done here over the last few years. Come into Lambeau and beat the Packers, albeit an asterisk because of the injury to Aaron Rodgers at the start of this game. But Josh McCown has thrown for 272 yards. John mentioned a key 20-yard run. And Mark Trestman's rush offense has done such a good job on this lengthy drive. And Mike McCarthy's team at the 2-minute warning faces a huge spot here on 3rd and 5, trailing by 4.
You have to expect blitz right here from Dom Capers.
They run Forte to the left. He's got a couple of blockers. Push run through a big block. And Forte gets to the 11-yard line. First down with 1:50 left.
And Mark Trestman expected the blitz, and he called the perfect play. Toss the ball with a little crack blocking and pull your left tackle, Jermon Bushrod. The perfect play against an all-out blitz. And Forte once again not only gets the first down, but he stays in bounds. Watch his stiff arm with his right hand. I like Forte. That's an excellent finish and good presence by the veteran back staying in bounds. You can't call a better play against an all-out blitz than they just did right there, Mike.
It's going to be the most plays on a drive for the Bears this year, John. They're milking every second of the clock as Forte runs to the right, inside the 10 and the 5, and he's down at the 4. And now McCarthy uses a timeout with 1:08, but there is a flag down.
Holding, number 83, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
On the Bears, and as we saw, that is so big because of what it does in terms of the clock. Penalties inside of 5 minutes are one of those things that kills what you coaches like to call a 4-minute drive when you're trying to run out the clock, because it stops the clock and preserves a timeout for McCarthy. McCarthy had just got ready to signal timeout, and when the flag was there, it stopped and erases that called timeout.
Take a look at the penalty right here. Martellus Bennett. Boy, I've seen a lot worse than that, Mike.
So the down repeats at first down, but with a stopped clock at 1:08. It's the run inside to the 18-yard line. Just a few seconds spin off. 1:04 remaining as Green Bay uses that first timeout after the Bush carry. Each team a couple of timeouts remaining. Minute 4. And the Packer offense has just been waiting, hoping they can get a stop. But this nearly 9-minute drive continues. It is Bush running right to the 15-yard line. McCarthy takes his second timeout with 58 seconds remaining. And so much of the game will come down to this play. Can they force a field goal and stay alive? This has been a series swept by the Packers in 09, 11, and 12. They have controlled this series over the last few years. Bears trying to walk in and get it done. Huge play here. First down awaits at the 1-yard line. It's 3rd and 14. Will they keep it on the ground? Yes, they will. It's Bush up the middle, inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Mike McCarthy will take his final timeout, and Robbie Gould will be set up for a field goal that could put Chicago up 7.
And now it's up to Green Bay to put the biggest men they have and try to get some middle push and reject this field goal. Johnny Jolly had 11 balls batted down in 2009. He's been out of football for a couple years. He's back. They've got to push, launch, and they need to make some kind of desperation play here in special teams, whether it be a block kick or a kickoff return, to have a chance. But Robbie Gould, he knows that. He gets the ball up as well as any kicker in football.
Third most accurate league history. Only Kevin Butler, longtime Bear kicker, has scored more points in Chicago history. For a 7-point lead from 27 yards out. Lattimore jumped through the middle of that pile, but Gould able to knock it through, and The Packers will have to go get a touchdown to tie this game and send it to overtime. 27-20. Chicago on top with 50 seconds remaining. A 9-minute drive there. Well, SportsCenter coming up after the game. Complete post-game reaction here, and also the story of the day of the National Football League. The turmoil down in Miami. Richie Cognito suspended indefinitely. Jonathan Martin, the man he plays right next to on the left side of the Miami offensive line. The text messages, the accusations, the reports that have gone back and forth there. Certainly not a very pleasant and a very troubling day for the Miami Dolphins organization.
I've never heard anything like this, and obviously it went too far. It should have never gotten to this point. If all of this is true, this is horrific. This is horrible for football. Justice must be served, but I've never heard anything like this.
Race relations, bullying, locker room culture, so many different items have been brought up with this one issue, and many folks speaking out. You'll hear some of that coming up on SportsCenter after the game, and then the Dolphins still have to go play football. That's the whole left side of their offensive line that's gone for the moment. We'll see them next Monday night against Tampa. But that issue that brought bullying, failure of leadership, rookie initiation, so many things into play. Joe Philbin, who used to be the offensive coordinator here, is the head coach in Miami. A lot to answer. An embarrassing time for the Dolphins.
Well, when you're on a team, you look out for each other. And players, coaches, everybody involved is guilty here. I just don't like the sound of this. Hopefully it gets resolved and they can move on with football, but I've never heard anything like that.
So Mike McCarthy looks down at that play sheet, figuring out how can Seneca Wallace get him down the field here in 50 seconds after that drive. About as long a drive as we've had in the league all year. 18 plays to get that Robbie Gould field goal and give him a 7-point lead. Taking up nearly 9 minutes as Gould will line drive it here. Try to force one of the up players to take it, and it's being returned by Banjo, the safety, and he's brought down at the 25. Eric Weems, who was once a return man with his special teams prowess in Atlanta, been a great addition to the Bears teams, and he made the tackle. GMC postgame coming up next. Not just the coverage of the Miami story, full postgame here. Obviously what they have to say about Aaron Rodgers. Susie Colbert anchoring with Trent Dilfer, Steve Young, Ray Lewis. It's all coming up here in a moment. 75 yards, 46 seconds. Can Seneca Wallace and the Packers tie the game? The 25 begins with Jordy Nelson up the sideline. Nelson out of bounds. The 40, gain of 15.
That's a designed block catch play that the Packers run a lot against a cover 2 defense. 2 receivers block. They throw the ball in the flat to Nelson. I wouldn't be surprised if you see it again, Mike. They love to run it to the 3 receiver side. Watch for it at the bottom of the screen.
Wallace is flushed. He is chased, and he's brought down by Corey Wootton.
Corey Wootton has moved inside this year to replace Henry Melton, and he just dominates as a pass rusher. Take a look at it off your left side. Here comes Wootton. Jailbreak that time.
Running, 16 seconds remaining after a sack. Didn't stop. They had no timeouts. They lost 17 on that play. Wallace, look out. Peppers from behind. Brings him down. Rather, McClellan, and that should do it. Shea McClellan, who sacked Aaron Rodgers at the start of the night, and injured Rodgers ends the night. And for the first time since 2007, the Bears come to Lambeau and beat the Packers. And they do it with their backup quarterback. Quite a night for Josh McCown, as the 2 injured star quarterbacks of these teams share a word. 27-20. And Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit are tied for first at 5-3 at the halfway point in the NFC North. With John Gruden, Lisa Salters, Mike Tirico, SportsCenter coming up. Full coverage of this game and this very newsy day in the NFC.